Solomon was providing nuggets of wisdom that I believe every single human being needs to grasp, because it's going to affect some part of your life. And one thing I love about the Proverbs is that they're so real and practical. We're actually taking the time to go through this first chapter of Proverbs and look at what Solomon was actually dealing with and what he was talking to us about and how it affects our lives in very specific ways. So some of the nuggets of wisdom for us to grasp during this process, we're going to have to learn how to make it through the seasons of disappointment and devastation. We're going to have to live with the questions that you do not have answers for. And even then, that one leads you right to the next one. You have to trust the answers that God gives you. Trust God. I love this statement. Trust God with the answers he places on hold. Even in the silence that says, I love you, but I cannot answer that question for you right now. Remember, I talked about how sometimes as parents, all the parents in the room, you know this is very true. Your children can have all kinds of questions, but certain things you can't answer for them right now. Not because you want to withhold them, but you know that they don't have the capacity within them to understand all of this. Can I drive the car? Your 10-year-old says. Your answer is no. Well, I have the ability to, if they happen to be tall enough to reach the acceleration and the brake pad and they can steer. Well, just because you know how to operate a vehicle doesn't mean you really understand all that's going on. You don't know how to judge traffic. You don't know how to time lights and people making turns in front of you or people who drift over into your lane. You don't know how to adjust for sudden and unexpected situations. If a kid runs out in the street, you may know how to guide a vehicle, but you don't know how to drive yet. And sometimes it's really like that. When God has these things that I can't answer that for you right now. You feel that because you read the word and you can quote some scriptures and I've given you some understanding that I should be able to give you the answer to this right now, but I can't, because you're a 10-year-old wanting to learn want me to put you behind the wheel of a car. And I can't do that yet. You will one day. I used to hate that when I was growing up. Remember that song, you'll understand it better by and by. I don't want to hear by and by. I want the answer now. I don't want by and by. But that's a reality, because what's he really after? It's trust. Just trust me. I'm not playing with your feelings. I'm not playing with your feelings. There's a whole lot of circumstances and situations on the line. Only God could handle. Just think about it, the devastations that we have seen in this year alone. Earthquake in Haiti, then there's one in China, one's hit Turkey. It's amazing, all these earthquakes, just like his word said it would be in the last days. So this year alone, there are literally millions of people, millions of questions before God right now. And in the midst of that, those ain't all sinners. One of the things I was really glad to see when I was watching the footage when the earthquake first hit Haiti was there was one church in particular, 700 Club, kind of highlighted. When it hit, church members were running out of the building and 5 or 6 people were killed. They didn't make it out. Love God, believe God. In fact, they was getting ready to start prayer. And you know what that congregation did? They didn't ball their fists mad at God because we lost some of our members in our church building that collapsed. You know what they did? They set up their stuff. They went inside and got some of the equipment that they could get, put the speakers, the drums, the keyboard and everything out on the street, and start having worship service out in front of everybody. In the midst of this devastation, we're going to worship God. Woo! I don't understand why this happened, but God, we're going to praise you anyway. See, that's a trust. That's the trust. We're being sifted right now. We don't know why. But I've been here long enough to know, God, that I can trust you. That even when you allow certain things to happen, no, you didn't do it, but you allowed it. And when you allow certain things to happen, God, we're going to trust you.